How's it guys? So welcome to week 5, activity-based costing. So again, just the normal information. The reading from the textbook is chapter 6 of the textbook. But again, the notes should be more than sufficient to bring understanding of this topic, but I do encourage you to read the textbook chapter 6. Alright, so at the end of this week, there will be multiple choice questions available, which will be graded, and then as always there's a long question. Alright, so the module objective is to explain the background of traditional method of allocating overheads, to explain the background of activity-based costing, or ABC, method of allocating overheads, and to discuss the strengths and weaknesses of activity-based costing. Alright, so before we go into the activity-based costing and the traditional method of allocating overheads, I thought I'd just remind you of whenever we produce a product, we typically, if you're manufacturing a product, there will be direct material involved, direct labor, and then there will be overheads. Okay, so direct material and direct labor the word direct and the word direct material, direct labor means that we can directly allocate those costs to a specific product that we produce. So if I buy material to make a Apple cell phone, then I know that material was directly used to produce the Apple cell phone. If I employ laborers to work on manufacturing the Apple cell phone, I know that that labor hours is directly used to create the Apple cell phone. However, overheads, which includes rent of the factory space, quality control, all of those things we cannot specifically say was done for the specific production of an Apple cell phone, as an example. So that's overheads. And so this whole discussion of activity-based costing, or the traditional method of allocating overheads, is just applied to overhead allocation. There's no difference for direct material, direct labor, because we can directly allocate those costs. It doesn't matter whether you use activity-based costing or any other form of allocating overheads. Okay, so very important, this whole module is just specifically about overheads. Direct material, direct labor is as before. Alright, so that's the important part of this module. Okay, so activity-based costing. The whole objective of activity-based costing is to enhance decision making, and by tracing overhead costs on the way it is consumed, it also helps to cost the consumption of resources based on what caused the cost to be incurred. So it is really trying to get the more accurate way of allocating overheads. Okay, whereas the traditional method, or the non-ABC method, overheads are typically allocated on some arbitrary basis, such as number of units, direct labor hours. So for example, we produce a Apple computer, and the rent of the factory is an overhead cost, and typically under the traditional basis they would, for example, allocate the rent based on the number of units produced. And the number of units produced has nothing to do with rent, because rent is a specific amount of square meters that you sign with wherever you rent the factory from. That has nothing to do with the number of units you produce. And so that's the problem with the non-ABC method, that it uses arbitrary allocation. But it's simplistic. And the ways that we allocate using the traditional method. So step 1, we would find the total overhead costs. We would find the normal allocation base, or the arbitrary basis that they're using. Step 3 is you determine the total normal allocation base. So if we say the normal allocation base is hours, then we need the total hours. If we say it's units, we need the total units in step 3. Right, then step 4 is we're going to determine the overhead rate by taking that total cost, right, and dividing it by this total normal allocation base. So That's basically the answer to step 1 divided by the answer to step 3. And then we're going to get a rate, and this rate gets basically allocated to the products that we are producing, because at the end of the day we want to get a product cost. Remember, these costs, direct material, direct labor, and overheads, will all be allocated to product, because we need to know what these products cost us so that we can determine an appropriate selling price. Alrighty, so in this video I'll end there for now, and when I come back we'll discuss the history of ABC. Cheers.